Good afternoon and welcome to the Harlan Municipal Utilities Board of Trustees meeting. Today is Thursday, February 27, 2025, 4:01. Calling the meeting to order. Do I have approval of the agenda and conflict of interest?
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda, and I have no conflict.
I'll second.
Roll call.
Shut eye.
Michelle, aye.
Dick's aye.
Barnett, aye.
Number 3, approval of consent agenda. All items listed under the consent agenda will be enacted by one motion with a roll call vote. There will be no separate discussion of these items unless a request is made prior to the time the board votes on the motion. Consent agenda. Items may include non-controversial subjects.
I'll make a motion to approve all items A through F on the consent agenda.
Second.
Roll call.
Shut eye.
Michelle, aye.
Dick's aye.
Barnett, aye.
Number 4, update to fitness membership assistance program, increasing the annual maximum dollar amount from $250 to $300.
Basically, the Wellness Center is raising their rates, and therefore we are adjusting the maximum amount allowed for our 40% match for any employee that wants to be a member.
It's a good, I mean, it
Well, yeah, I
gets
mean,
people
that's-
out and helps on insurance costs and everything.
Correct, health.
What's the percentage of people?
We have in the handout 11 employees that have some sort of a membership there. So less than half, but. I move that we update the fitness membership to the ones from $250 to $300.
I'll second that motion.
Roll call.
Shut eye.
Michelle, aye.
Dick's aye.
Barnett, aye.
Number 5, resolution 1219 honoring Michael Moss, service to HMU Board of Trustees.
Yeah, basically, we'd just like to thank Mike for his service and wish him the best.
Yes, thank you, Mike, for your service.
I'll make the motion to approve that resolution.
Second.
Roll call.
Shut eye.
Michelle, aye.
Dick's aye.
Barnett, aye.
Okay.
That's what you get when your term's up. You get a resolution.
I got a Cadillac. Dang it, I quit.
Or a Rolex watch or something.
Yeah. Number 6, recommendation from Al Powers of P&E Engineering per pay app number 9 for the 2023-2024 overhead to underground conversion project in the amount of $49,245.38.
Just like the others, the 8 before this, just the progress payment to LFI/Burns Electric for work completed to date on that project. And I'll give a little update in my report, as far as kind of where we're at. Things are going good.
I'll make the motion to approve payment number 9 in the amount of $49,245.38.
Second.
Roll call.
Shut eye.
Michelle, aye.
Dick's aye.
Barnett, aye.
Okay. Number 7, Highway 59 Service Extension, pay app number 2, and the final amount of $3,059.55.
Basically, this is just the retainage that was held from the first payment to McCarthy Trenching, where they just, like I said, we purchased all the material, they just helped us install the trench, backfilled, and seeded. And as part of this, we have obtained a letter from McCarthy Trenching guaranteeing the seed, since it hasn't come up yet, but they dormant seeded it this last fall before we got to snow and everything. So if there's spots that don't come, they'll come back and touch it up.
When did the hydrants become active? When it gets the hydrants that
They're active.
They are active.
Yeah.
The fire department knows that.
Yep. Yeah, because they all need extensions put on top of them.
And we've got the material for
We've got
that,
the
we just
material
gotta
to
get out
do
there and extend.
Can't get the ditches at the moment.
Okay. Yeah, the only reason I ask is, as we come up on the, we've all seen the grass fires already this winter, probably capability of providing some grass vine capability out there in that neck of the woods is kind of an added bonus to going farther south. I'll make the motion to approve payment number 2 and the final amount for $3,059.55.
Second?
Roll call.
Sheldon, aye.
Michelle, aye.
Nichols eye.
Barnett, aye.
Okay. Number 8, approval to get bids for South Pole building improvements, 405 Chatburn Facility, Harlan, Iowa, and form of contract instructions to quoters, plans, and quotations form.
Yeah, so basically this is our south storage building down there, which also contains, about a quarter of it contains the Christmas committee's displays that are stored in that building. Roof's been, well, it's been leaking for some time, and I think some of this other weather we had, there's a couple skylights in there that have some holes in them. I think probably this last hail events didn't help that either. That roof sheeting, I guess, has pretty much lost all its paint on it too, and the nail holes have worked loose, so it's been leaking for some time, so we're looking at trying to replace that steel on that just so it's dry inside, and we've got a good place to be able to store equipment protection. Electric, gas, and water would split the cost on that. It's going to be roughly around $25,000 to replace that. They do have that in their 25-26 budget as far as covered. So we would look at, I'd probably turn around tomorrow or first of next week, get it, call the local contractors, and I don't know if we'll put it out on, like our Facebook or something, just to let them know that it's out there, but at least contact our local contractors to see who wants to try to bid on it. Do have in there that I think we got for them to start sometime after July 1, so at least we're in that new budget year then. And then I think we're giving them a pretty late fall completion date too, so it gives them time through the summer to do it.
Okay.
I'd make a motion to approve getting bids for the South Pole building down at 405 Chatburn facility in form of contracts, instructions to quoters, plans, and quotation form.
Second Al's motion.
Can I get a roll call?
Sheldon, aye.
Michelle, aye.
Nichols eye.
Barnett, aye.
And number 9, receive and file the 2025-2026 budget.
Yeah, we've had our several meetings, I guess, amongst the managers, and then we met a couple times with the finance committee to go over the budget itself. So it's been reviewed. We've made any changes, I guess, that we had questions on, so I feel it's I mean, we can send it on to the city for their approval or inclusion.
I move that we receive and file the 2025-26 budget.
Second.
Roll call.
Sheldon, aye.
Michelle, aye.
Nichols eye.
Barnett, aye.
Number 10, information only. Do you want to read that?
Yeah, you can, I mean,
Or you?
well, I can too. Item A, overhead door final payment of $5,000. This amount was held back when we redid all the overhead doors and added the new door on the old office building down there, so we could utilize that as storage. We made one payment that was the majority that held back $5,000 because they still, all the doors were in, but they kind of had to finish the trim around that west door on the west side of the old office. That work's all been complete, so we feel we can release that money to complete that project. Item B, McClure invoice in the amount of $11,101.85. Ongoing engineering costs for the raw water system improvement project. And I think we discussed that a little bit with this whole issue with trying to get well 35 drilled, and now they're wanting to abandon that hole, re-drill in a different location. McClure Engineering, we talked to them, they are separating their time for the engineering work that pertains to relocation of this site for well 35. That is the cost that we feel HMU does not have to absorb, so therefore they're keeping it separate. McClure Engineering doesn't have a contract with McCarthy Engineering, so I guess the way we're foreseeing to handle that is Whatever that cost ends up being, we will probably deduct that from the final payment to McCarthy Trenching as far as, to get reimbursed for that amount. So that's what we're planning on doing on that. Item C, SPP annual membership assessment of $6,000. That's just a required membership fee that we pay every year for SPP. Item D, NIPCO Waimeca Services presentation. This is information on benefits and expectations of possibly joining Waimeca and utilizing NIPCO as our power purchasing agent, which then would replace Tenaska, who does our power purchasing presently. Thoughts are to have both, probably NIPCO/Waimeca or the NIMECA group present to the full board at some point here in the near future, much like we did with Clayton Energy when we were looking at, gas purchasing. And then we would stay with Tenaska probably until June of '26 is when that contract renews every year about the middle of June. We have to give them a 90-day notice. So hopefully by this time next year, we would have kind of some agreements set to be signed with either one of those groups. And then we would notify them that we'd be done with them by June 15th for that anniversary date. Because they're thinking it'd take probably, once we decide who we may go with, be 8 to 10 months to work out the agreements and everything and figure out how we're going to handle everything with our transmission line, with Louisa, all those. I mean, there's a lot of detail to work out. And then item E.
Yeah, can we
Oh,
touch
so-
just,
yeah.
so D, I think I appreciated the fact that we were given the read-ahead for the 33-page slide deck. If we could get the similar proposals, even coming back from Tenaska, so we have a chance to actually look at them and make our own comparison,
Yep.
not have it done for us in the board, if that makes sense. That'd be great.
Yeah, because I know we haven't really gotten much from a NIMECA yet, but I mean, that was something too, there. Hopefully we're striving to get some kind of presentation from them too then.
Right, and then Tenaska, they ought to get a chance to
Yeah.
pitch
But-
their own.
But they don't have, then it's not the same thing. It's not the same as.
Yeah, basically, I mean, they don't own, I mean, they're just strictly purchasing where these other groups, I guess, are, seem to be, they would be more involved. Is that a way to say it, I guess? Yeah.
Like Clayton.
Yeah, my point is that we have Tenaska now, but I don't know what they do. So I think there ought to be,
Sure.
what is it that
They're
they're currently
doing-
have done by them versus what is it that somebody else is potentially going to do for us.
Sure.
Or, so.
Yeah. Item E, agreement with Burns Electric for repair of the Harlan 69 kV loop, the in-town loop. Priority reject poles in the amount of $63,787. Currently, there's more work than that to be done after we had that outer line inspected around town from substation to substation. But currently, there are 3 poles that should be replaced prior to, I mean, they're filling, as far as P&E Engineering filling, that should be replaced prior to the upcoming storm season. All these poles are the ones that are in farmland, or farmed areas. And granted, I don't think there's some other poles that gotta be replaced, but they're at least not where there's row crop. It wasn't ample time to bid for replacement of the poles and then get them replaced before the planting season. So the recommendation was that, we have Burns Electric in town, so we got a bid from them to replace these 3 poles prior to any planting, that is commenced or any field work that's commenced. And like I said, the remaining repair work would then be formally bid and completed at a later date, probably in the fall. But it's just that these 3 were kind of a priority to get to, since they're going to be in, they're in cropped areas.
So should that be a board approval, or why is that just informational? Is that a contract in hand?
No, we're looking at it as kind of more of an emergency to get it completed.
Yeah, I don't disagree, but does it have to come back to the board to get the 63,000 approved, or should it be approved in this board. I mean, it exceeds the threshold, right?
Mhm.
So do we have a proposal? We already have a proposal for this?
We have a proposal from them, I mean, at least they're,
It says
what they did.
63,787.
And this
They
is,
broke it out per pole.
and you consider this to be an emergent issue because of the crop
Correct.
disruption?
Well, and because of the deterioration of the pole.
Pole itself too.
Right.
In that inspection, they made it kind of a, you know, that's what their priority reject pole is what they call it.
Yeah, but we wouldn't, it's the crops that prevent us from going out and competing for this.
Correct, I mean, we could wait to bid it all together, but then we obviously have had to pay probably some crop damage if it's something we try to do this summer. Or we take our chances to see if it lasts, you know, if we're okay. I mean,
Right.
it's kind of a gamble, I mean, it's lasted this long, but then again, could something happen before this fall?
Yeah, so what it is, the reason I'm asking is, does this constitute something that could be done if the board feels like it warrants to be done outside of the normal process? The normal process would be, it's above a certain threshold, you go out and you
You
get
bid it.
bids,
Correct.
and then it comes into the board. So I guess that's my question. The current agricultural environment right now, probably going in somebody's field, is probably, after they planted, is probably not good for them.
Well, compaction and everything too, correct.
And we think this is probably a fair price around what we would pay for 3 poles.
Yeah, I mean, P&E, our electrical engineers, I mean, they're the ones that got the numbers. I mean, I think, you know, we were working with Jared, weren't we?
Yep.
I mean, he didn't think they were out of the ordinary.
Okay.
Are the rest of the poles in good shape, even
Yeah.
going south of town? Or wasn't that all?
Yeah, that was all taken care of in this last round.
And all the repairs were done.
Oh,
All the repairs are done on that, so
This
it's
is
just
just the
in town.
69.
just the in-town ones is
In-town.
what we're looking at now for repairs. And like I said, this is just a portion of the repairs. Jared was actually in town today and they actually drove the whole line again so he can kind of get a feel or an idea of what needs to be repaired and put into an actual set of plans to complete the remaining repairs.
Are you talking like insulators?
Poles,
Poles,
got it.
yeah, other poles yet?
Okay.
conductors.
But these are just poles that are really bad.
Right.
Bad and then in row crop.
Farm crop.
Yep.
Yeah.
So this is like an emergent.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I guess that's what we listed it under, something that should probably get done now.
Is there something in your policies and procedures that says you have the ability to do this due to an emergency?
Yeah, I sent you the policy.
Right.
So that it's in there, so this fits.
I mean, it's how you read into it. I mean, it says, what do you warn an emergency? And I guess, just amongst ourselves, I guess we felt that this is something that needs to be done.
So this was already planned, it was in your budget.
The repairs were,
Yep,
yes.
it's in your budget, we're just looking to accelerate it.
Correct.
So,
Just for these 3 poles.
just these.
Just those
rules, right?
3 poles. Yeah.
And in your estimate, it's not an outlandish price. It's probably a pretty fair market value. So why don't we just bring this forth for board approval, vice information?
Okay.
You were gonna bring it to the next meeting then, because you didn't have it on the agenda
Yeah, but I didn't know.
to approve it. It was just on there as information only. I don't know that you can change it at the last minute.
So,
We don't, because it has to be, ours has to be posted 24 hours. ahead of
Or the
time.
same.
Which I don't
That's where I'm saying, that's why I'm just making sure that the policy that you have allows this to happen on an emergency basis.
And if I have a copy of that, I guess I could read the policy.
Otherwise, does it prolong fixing them until after it's approved next
but
month?
then what if we have more damage?
That's what that's what
Yeah,
I'm saying,
you know
if the
what I'm
policy says it's okay, that you
Well,
make
we're-
that decision.
We're February 8th, so that'd be March 27th.
Well, we could do it on the 13th board, right, remotely, or electronic.
Oh, you're electronic?
Yeah.
because we have to order the poles, because nobody has the poles on hand.
So then we're waiting another,
Because, yeah, if it was okay today, then they would order them,
tomorrow.
and they would have it done by the end of March. About 2.5 to 3 week lead
What
time
was
for
that
the
email called, Jimmy?
poles.
I'm going back and I'm looking myself.
Do you remember what the title of the email was?
So, and this has already been budgeted, and this is just part of what's gonna come out of the original budget.
Yeah, we just didn't know how much it was gonna be, so we just set
And-
so many, I wanna say $300,000 for repairs,
Okay.
because nobody knows.
Until you get right into the,
Right,
and that's why he was up again today.
yes.
Yeah, if there's an exception to policy that allows us to, it doesn't make any sense to me to wait until the 17th of March to then approve this if it,
The policy reads, it is the policy of the Board of Trustees of the Harlan Municipal Utilities that the general manager or authorized designee is, in his or her absence, has the authority to contract for emergency repair without public letting. When emergency repair is necessary to provide safety to citizens of Harlan, protection of property, or to effect and also provide for necessary repairs for the restoration of electric, gas, water, or telecommunications services. That's General Policy 43.
So then that's a go, as far as that policy. Correct.
I would say so.
And then that will just be taken out of whatever the
Right, yeah, I mean, that'll be
$300,000
done.
bid.
Mhm.
So then they would only have approximately 200 and some thousand.
Which we hope what we have set aside is more than enough, so that we don't end up spending it all.
yeah, I think just to be clear, I think we should grant, because it exceeds a threshold, a dollar amount, we just simply, based on an emergent situation that you deemed as emergent, we just grant you the authority to make the purchases associated with these repairs. When the board has approved it, we don't end up with this, is it emergent or isn't emergent, are you authorized or are you not authorized? I know it's not on the agenda, but it's being publicly discussed. Right, so,
Right.
So we don't need motion because it's different. So you'll be able to go ahead and order those poles tomorrow.
And move forward, yes.
Okay. Minus three, say you did 300,000, so you take off 63,000, so you're down. Okay. So we shouldn't come back with asking for more.
Yeah, there'll be additional work, like I said.
Right, but that's, we've already budgeted that.
Correct,
And this is taken out of that budgeted amount.
correct.
Okay.
You just never.
So on to number 11.
Yes, a few items under my report. Overhead underground conversion project update. Not a lot of work has been complete since the last pay app. You know, you can see that it wasn't a huge pay app, I guess, as far as monetary amount. Contractor is working, they've been off site for the last couple weeks working on another, in another area. But they're still working on setting equipment, pulling wire and connecting new services. Raw water system improvements project. We've talked about this in the past with well number 35. We are waiting on the DNR to approve the new site of well 35. Preferred site is approximately 75 feet north of the hole that is to be abandoned in our east well field. Contractors repaired the axle on the drill rig, but they are working to find somebody to repair the air compressor so they can get moved back in. But I still think we're probably 3 weeks out before the DNR even gives us approval of the new site, you know, so after that's when, you know, contractor wouldn't be able to move in until that time anyhow, so I'm sure we're probably a month out before we ever start drilling, if they get the equipment fixed.
Is the old site all filled in?
Not yet, yeah, I think when they come back, they'll abandon that and then start drilling at the new site.
That's secured?
Yeah.
Very well.
HMU has set up a process through the Iowa Department of Revenue set-off program to collect funds from previous customers that have skipped town without paying their account. Funds are collected through withholdings from the income tax returns, so it's something that we just started trying to do. To date, there is about $9,098.10 committed to come back to us through this program. And we've already received right around $7,200 from this program, so it's working.
Good.
Have couple anniversaries for this month. David Swank, 21 years, and
Wow.
Brian Masher, 13 years.
Nice.
So,
Congratulations on that.
yeah. So that's all I have under that item. If
Okay.
you have any questions for me?
Okay, so now we're gonna go into close.
Well, you guys have to decide if you're going to go into closed session, and then you'll need to vote.
Can we decide if we're gonna go into closed session? Or do I have approval to go into closed session at this time?
So I just make the motion that we go into closed session to review or discuss records which are required or authorized by state and federal
Right.
law to be kept confidential.
Perfect.
I'll second that.
Okay, roll call.
Sheldon, aye?
Michelle, aye.
Vickers, aye?
Arnett, aye?